All right, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to embark on a pretty wild journey. We're traveling all the way from the slightly terrifying abyss of a completely indifferent universe straight into the wildly liberating realization of ultimate personal freedom. It's kind of like a philosophical roller coaster, right? And it's one that can absolutely change how you view your everyday decisions, your biggest ambitions, and honestly, your entire place in the cosmos. Let's get into it. So, I want you to just picture this for a second. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and suddenly realizing that everything you've ever believed in, success, money, our whole concept of morality, even the ultimate purpose of life itself, is literally just a human invention. Imagine waking up to the stark reality that there is no grand cosmic plan, no objective meaning written into the fabric of the universe just waiting for you to discover it. There is only you, your consciousness, and a vast, infinitely expanding, entirely indifferent universe. Okay, so let's actually break down what we're talking about here. At its absolute core, nihilism, which actually comes from the Latin word nihil, literally meaning nothing, argues that life has no inherent or objective meaning. And yeah, that is a deeply uncomfortable idea, mostly because human psychology is completely hardwired to crave purpose. We desperately want to know why we're here. But notice the nuance. Existential nihilism doesn't say your life is meaningless to you. It just says the universe itself doesn't hand out a predetermined purpose or objective moral values for anything we do. To put it bluntly, the stars just do not care. The cosmos simply exists. It doesn't look down from the heavens to reward the good guys or punish the bad ones. It honestly doesn't care if you achieve your lifelong goals, buy that dream house, or leave a massive legacy. It's relentlessly 100% neutral. For thousands of years, humans have looked up at the night sky seeking guidance, thinking those constellations held the answers to our destinies. Nihilism strips all of that away. It leaves us with the somewhat brutal reality that the stars are really just burning balls of gas in a cold vacuum, completely oblivious to our existence. Now, this intense feeling of cosmic indifference didn't just pop out of thin air, While philosophical skepticism has always kind of hung around in the margins, the true weight of this realization really surged during a massive crisis of meaning back in the 19th century. Practically overnight, humanity was forced to look at a reality that just didn't fit into those neat, comfortable little boxes of the past anymore. Society was transforming at a breakneck pace. It was essentially the perfect storm for an existential crisis. By the early 1800s, political revolutions had people radically questioning things like divine authority and the absolute rights of kings. Then, boom, you get these monumental scientific discoveries, like Darwin's theory of evolution, that suddenly made the universe feel infinitely older and way less human-centric. We went from thinking we were the absolute center of creation to realizing we're, just another species on a floating rock. Add in the rapid industrialization of the 1890s, and the absolute certainties humanity relied on for millennia were just crumbling before their eyes. And that cultural earthquake brings us to a figure whose name is practically synonymous with this whole era. Enter Friedrich Nietzsche. He's the one philosopher most intensely tied to the concept of nihilism, though, ironically, usually for reasons he never intended. Fun fact about Nietzsche, he actually suffered from awful lifelong health issues, going nearly blind and dealing with constant migraines. Yet, despite all that, he possessed one of the sharpest minds in history, perfectly diagnosing the psychological ailments of a rapidly modernizing world. You've definitely heard his most legendary line, "God is dead." Now, today, this phrase gets hijacked all the time. People slap it onto edgy merchandise, completely missing the profound sense of dread Nietzsche was actually trying to convey. When he wrote this, he wasn't making some triumphant, literal statement about a deity physically passing away. Actually, scratch that. It's more like he was pointing out that traditional religious beliefs were fundamentally losing their grip as the unifying glue of modern society. The shared, unquestioned beliefs that gave everyone meaning were collapsing. And without that foundation, he knew society was standing right on the edge of a psychological cliff. So here's the huge misconception. Nietzsche was absolutely not celebrating this collapse. No way. He was terrified by it. He feared we'd descend into what he called passive nihilism. This is a highly dangerous crisis where humanity, totally stripped of its traditional comforts, would just throw its hands up and give in to despair. He was terrified that without a higher purpose handed down from above, people would just become deeply cynical and spiritually exhausted. Which, honestly, leads to a very fair question, right? If the universe genuinely doesn't care, and if literally nothing has an objective meaning, why do anything at all? Why choose to be kind to your neighbor? Why follow the law? Or put in the grueling hours to chase your biggest dreams? Critics have always pointed this out, arguing that nihilism is basically a one-way ticket to hopelessness. I mean, if the finish line is just an illusion, why even bother running the race? But here is the massive philosophical plot twist. On one side, yes, you have that dark interpretation, despair, emptiness, the passive nihilism that Nietzsche was so scared of. But on the exact opposite side, you have what he called active nihilism. And this is the wildly empowering, surprisingly optimistic reality of ultimate liberation. Active nihilism basically says, hey, precisely because life comes with absolutely no preordained cosmic purpose, the canvas is totally blank. The chains of objective obligation are just gone. You are 100% free to step up and forge a meaningful existence completely on your own terms. In this incredibly liberating view, your family, your passions, your friendships, your wildest dreams, they aren't meaningful because some cosmic law declared it. They matter purely because you chose them. You are the architect of your own meaning. When you finally stop waiting for the universe to hand you a purpose, you take back the power to create one for yourself. Active nihilism doesn't destroy meaning, it democratizes the whole shebang. It makes meaning a fiercely authentic, totally personal choice. And we're not just talking about some dusty 19th century history lesson here. This exact philosophical tension is playing out literally everywhere in our modern world right now. We are navigating the exact crisis Nietzsche predicted. We're wrestling with these huge existential questions every single day, often without even realizing where our anxiety is coming from. Seriously, we're surrounded by it. You see it in the movies we watch, the novels we read, and even in massive video games that constantly feature existential characters trying to figure out their place in a chaotic world. But we see it most vividly in the digital age. Millions of people are endlessly chasing algorithmic approval, viral fame, and money on social media. We've basically replaced the old traditional structures of meaning with these shiny new external gods of metrics, likes, and follower counts. People do this hoping it'll finally make them feel fulfilled. But as psychological data and so many personal stories show us, chasing those metrics just leaves people feeling incredibly hollow. So why does that emptiness stick around? Well, maybe the issue isn't that we haven't achieved enough. It's not that you just need one more promotion or a bigger bank account or 1,000 more followers. Maybe the fundamental problem is that we are desperately searching for objective meaning in all the wrong places. We keep looking outside of ourselves, to algorithms, to society, to external validation, for a universal answer that, if nihilism is right, simply does not exist. This is exactly why nihilism continues to grip us today. It forces us to stop hiding behind easy, prepackaged answers. It completely destroys the illusion that someone else is going to hand you your life's purpose on a silver platter. Meaning isn't a buried treasure you just magically dig up one day. Meaning is a daily creation. It's something you actively build brick by brick every single day through your actions, your human connections, and the values you choose to uphold. It doesn't give you an instruction manual, right? It just challenges you to take total responsibility for writing your own story. Which brings us to the very end of our journey today. I'm going to leave you with this final, maybe slightly terrifying, but absolutely incredibly powerful question to chew on after this explainer is over. If life truly has no inherent, pre-written meaning, what are you going to choose to do with yours? The canvas is completely blank. The choice is yours. Keep questioning, keep learning, and we'll catch you in the next explainer.